This is Sick and Wrong, America's #1 source for antisocial commentary. Brought to you by the Reach Around Foundation.
Hey there. Welcome to Sick and Wrong, podcast number 10. This is your host, D. Simon.
This is Lance Wackerly. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on there, Lance?
Not a whole lot.
Can you believe this podcast number 10? It's like a special occasion. It's a milestone. Yeah, I know. I kind of wish we had like Mad Dog 2020 or Night Train or something to commemorate this special event.
Mixed with some party punch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But this is number 10, and as you know, people, it's a special podcast. I personally would like to thank the Reach Around Foundation for sponsoring us and for hosting this exemplary podcast, critically acclaimed.
Right.
I don't know who the critics are, but yes, critically acclaimed. And in response to some listeners' emails that we've been getting, people have asked us, like, what is the Reach Around Foundation? You know, where's the Reach Around Foundation from? How do I donate money to the Reach Around Foundation? And the Reach Around Foundation's been asking us, like, why don't you give us a plug? So I'm going to hand the mic over to Lance Wackerly, who coordinated the deal with the Reach Around Foundation in the beginning. So, Lance, what is the Reach Around Foundation?
Well, Brant Russell came to me, or actually, I went to him.
Was this like 6 months ago, a year ago, something like that?
You know, we've been doing the podcast for a couple months here, and this is was right around before that when we were trying to figure out the website.
But did you volunteer for them or something?
He's an old acquaintance of mine. And I really do think this is working out for them because people are emailing, asking who the Reach Around Foundation is, looking to give them money, which is kind of the point of them
generating public interest. Right,
that's the point of them hosting the show. And so I'm just going to give Brant has told me he's a little dismayed that people don't know what they're all about.
Well, it's because we've never actually spoken at any length about the Reach Around Foundation.
I kind of thought they were more of a household name.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, they have a website, reacharound.org.
Yeah, well, and plus, the show's not about the Reach Around Foundation, so I'm going to make this quick. The Reach Around Foundation, they started out, it's with the idea of mobile petting zoos, because,
mobile petting zoos.
Well, let me finish. Children who are invalids and are in, emergency rooms, children's hospitals.
Disabled kids,
kids who are about to die.
Retards?
Probably some retards.
Okay.
They'd be the perfect audience for a petting zoo, but they can't get to the petting zoo. So what the Reach Around, the Reach Around Foundation's original idea was to bring these barnyard animals out to hospitals around, the Bay Area.
So you're
and
talking
the country.
About pigs, goats, cows?
Yeah, your normal petting zoo type animals.
Well, not cows, but like pigs and goats and sheep.
Right.
Shit like that.
Ducks. Okay. So that's how they started. They're branching out into other, helping retards in other areas and retarded children and sick kids, that sort of thing. Kids with cancer.
I'm sure the Reach Around Foundation appreciates your use of the word retard.
One thing I talked to Brant about when he was...
Brant's going to be pissed.
Well, one thing we talked about when he agreed to sponsor the show was he was going to have no editorial control.
That's good.
And he has agreed to that. But it sounds like it's working out. People are emailing in, wanting to know about them. People, if you want more information, just this is the year 2006. Just go to Google and search for Reach Around.
Reach Around Foundation.
They reach around. They're reaching their arms around these sick, helpless, retarded children. They're reaching around like a hug.
I just kind of love the fact that they bring like a goat or a pig or something. They're like, hey, retard, play with the pig. But hey, maybe it helps.
They're a little more tactful than that, They're just think of arms reaching around a group of retarded children.
So did you volunteer for them?
I have volunteered for them in the past. It's not a regular thing I do, but now what I do for them mainly is we do the show and we get their name out there.
Well, it's cool that they're sponsoring the show, and I'd like to thank the Reach Around Foundation for hosting and paying the hosting fees and sponsoring the show. And it's definitely a good thing. Speaking of retards, though, Lance. I came across, speaking of retards, since we're speaking at length about them, I came across a great website today. It's amazing to me. You know how like sometimes I feel that I'm pretty well versed in most of the websites that are out there. I'm on the internet all day long. And then every now and then you'll get blindsided by this website that you haven't even heard about, and you're like,
Is this another group that helps out retarded kids, or
sort of?
Okay.
Sort of. But it's a famous retard. And this is the amazing thing. So someone sent me this link and they're like, check this out. So I looked at it. It's www.chrisburke.com. ChrisBurke.org. And I don't know if you remember who Chris Burke is, but jog your memory back to the 80s to a little television show. It's a serial drama called Life Goes On.
Well, what I was going to say, I don't know who Chris Burke is, but I really only know of one famous retarded guy. Well, besides that guy who was in Goonies, I don't know who his name is. What his name is.
That retard in Goonies.
Right.
Yeah, that guy's not that famous, though.
Right.
This retard's much more famous.
Corky from that show is much more famous.
Corky is Chris Burke.
Chris Burke
is Corky. And he was in the show in the late 80s called Life Goes On. I think it was the late 80s, early 90s.
So he has a website?
He has a website. Go check it out, ChrisBurke.org. Well, what's amazing about it is, I've wondered for years, like, so what has Chris Burke been doing? He was a childhood star. Is he dead? I mean, I don't know how long retards live for. But is he dead now? What's he doing? Is he, like, robbing liquor stores? Is he pimping out prostitutes?
Like that guy from Different Strokes, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Or
that's what happens to child stars.
They all started like doing drugs and because of all their newfound wealth at that young age. Well, as a matter of fact, Charles Corky Thatcher, Christopher Burke, is in a band now with two guys. It's Chris Burke with Joe and John DeMasi. And what they do, they've been delighting audiences throughout the U.S. and Canada with their inspiring, uplifting, and entertaining music for the past decade. The trio brings a message of love, inclusion, and celebration to hundreds of concerts, schools, festivals, and conferences around the country.
Probably mostly in Canada.
But they're based in New Jersey. But yeah, I mean, they go around, they sing with a band. They do musical presentations to groups of they definitely do like lots of groups of disabled kids, but they also go to children's hospitals, they go to elementary schools and junior highs, and what it is the two guys, Joe and John DeMasi, are identical twins. I don't know if you
are they retarded?
No, they're not. But go check out the website. They might as well be retarded. They look like these two gay dudes with beards. They look like two bears or something.
Who's the leader of the band?
Well, obviously it's Corky. See, what it is, like the two guys...
So does he have the final word on any type of creative control issues?
Yeah, he's kind of like James Hetfield.
Okay.
For Metallica. But
I'll definitely check that out.
Well, the way it works is like Joe and John do all the music and most of the singing, but then...
Yeah, well, they'd have to.
But then, and I'm sure they write all the lyrics, and then Chris Burke's just kind of in the middle with a microphone, just kind of singing in his off-key, retarded, Down syndrome voice kind of way. And dude, I swear to God, the music's beautiful.
He's an accomplished actor. He has some skills.
Well, what's funny about it? It's like these two dudes, these two Siamese twin guys. They're not Siamese twins, but identical twins are obviously just losers.
Oh, I wish they were.
If they were attached,
the best band ever.
A pair of Siamese twins and a Down syndrome kid. Yeah, that'd be great, dude. I'm surprised there isn't a band like that. I don't know. Maybe there is.
I always was a little
Interpol.
I was always a little conflicted about Corky because you're supposed to feel bad for him because he's retarded, but then again, he's got a hit show. I don't feel that groups like the Reach Around Foundation should be giving him any assistance because he's already got it good.
No, I don't even. Band. I don't even know if the Reach Around Foundation even knows about this website.
They probably do, but he'd be a good spokesperson for them, maybe.
Well, I guess they sing inspirational songs of kindness, and apparently it's been inspiring Down syndrome support groups across America.
I'll have to email Brant Russell with this guy's contact info.
But dude, you got to check it out though. If you look at the website, people, you can order merchandise. You can order CDs, and I'm actually going to order one of these for my sister's birthday, which is coming up in a couple weeks.
Oh man, every slacker teen that listens to this show is going to have the shirt on next week at school. So,
dude, had I known that this website existed a month ago, I'd have ordered it for your birthday, which was just about a week ago. Anyways,
I would have it on right now if I had the shirt.
But some of these, let me just read off a couple titles of some of these records. A World of Kindness is one of them. There's another record called Singer with the Band. And then there's the third record, Lollipops and Love Songs. And some of the songs that he sings is Obla Di, Obla Da, the Beatles song, which was actually the theme song from Life Goes On.
That makes sense.
And it's great. It's almost all Corky singing that one. And then they do this like stirring rendition of Poison Ivy, which I just played for you a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, that was nice.
I'm thinking maybe we should just end the podcast with Poison Ivy today.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Maybe we will.
Change it up a little bit.
Dude, it's great. It's
but
like,
only once. I can't take it more than
Corky
once.
sings for the has kind of like the primary singing voice in that one. So he's like the lead singer of that song. But what I love about it is like the really slow, anthemic songs that he does. And it's stirring, it's touching, and I think people out there should go check it out. It's chrisburke.org. You can also order a T-shirt with his likeness on it.
So the songs sound a little bit slow and maybe downbeat, but all the titles of the albums are definitely upbeat. It doesn't sound like he's had a dark period.
Dude, there's only a couple songs that are like slower, more love songs. Most of them are like a little faster, like Poison Ivy.
Okay.
You know, that's got a beat. Lollipop Tree. Tingaleo. I don't even know what that one's about, but yeah. It's
so he's
great.
having a good time. That's what I mean. I don't feel sorry for that guy.
I don't feel sorry for him either.
He's just happy and retarded.
The thing is with that guy, the one thing I'm wondering, and I'm going to let this end right here, is do you think he gets laid?
No.
But how could he not get laid? He's
because
a childhood actor.
I don't think retards are scared of
scared
women.
of the poontang?
Yeah, I think it's frightening to them.
Dude, Corky has to have a lot of money.
Well, I think they masturbate just vigorously all the time. You have to keep them. You have to stop them. But I don't think they actually like sexual contact with another person.
Yeah, but I just wonder. I mean, Corky's got to be like in his 30s now.
Well, okay.
He's got to be in his 30s. He's got a lot of money. I'm sure he's doing blow and fucking strippers.
If I tell you, yeah, I think he gets laid. Well, can we get on to the next bit?
I guess we can.
Okay.
I guess we can. But
yeah,
I'm just
I think
wondering.
He does get laid. All the time.
All right, I'm gonna have to let it rest.
He's beating him off with a stick.
I'm gonna have to let it rest. But no, people, I was putting a lot of thought into this at work today. In fact, I wasn't doing any work. I was just thinking about Chris Burke getting laid, and I was thinking, this dude probably has sex with a different girl every night. He probably gets laid more than me and you combined.
From
I mean,
the way
he has a ton of money.
You did have sex with him.
If for the right price, maybe I would. Anyways, we got to move on here. We got to move on here. There were a lot of articles in the news this past week, and it was tough for me to kind of wheedle down the article that I was going to do. And I ended up finding one that's pretty sick. It's not really sick. It's just wrong, and it's kind of funny. And I know you probably have a pretty sick one. People, let me just recap the way this show works, sick and wrong. Lance and I both find the most disturbing news item of the week. We present them to each other. The listening audience votes as to which article you find the most disgusting, and the winner, either me or Lance, gets a case of beer. And occasionally, if the listening audience sends us an article, if some listener sends us an article, and that's pretty cool, we'll send you a 6-pack, maybe.
A couple 40s.
Maybe a couple 40s.
Want, really.
Well, I know last week we had some guy named Vinny that sent us a pretty cool article, and we sent him like a 40 of Mickey's.
2 40s of Mickey.
2 40s of Mickey's. So people, we invite you to send in your articles, sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com.
Although if you want any hooch, you got to include your address. I don't know how people feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to send you some hooch. Maybe we will.
If your address is there, hey, we will.
Well, anyways, last week I believe you won. Maybe. Did you win?
I
think it might have been undecided.
Final email judgment said that I won.
Yeah, we had a couple people that emailed that said the penis-eating cannibal was a lot sicker than the guy who bit off his girlfriend's face. So, hey, I'm willing to concede, and Lance, yeah, I owe you a case of beer. Well, this week, maybe the tables have changed. I'm going to start it all off here with my first article of the week. He's a hardened criminal. This guy's a hardened criminal. No pun intended. Actually, there is a pun. Bulging burglar. There's all these like little puns that go with this.
Yeah, there's lots of puns intended.
There's lots of puns that go with this article. I'm just kind of reading it off here. Found this article off of Anna Nova, which is a great UK website. This actually happened in Germany. The article's from Germany, but and they reported it in England. It's on a couple websites. A burglar was spared a stiff prison term after a judge heard he was permanently aroused down below. I find this kind of interesting. Maurice Bowman, 32 years old, was given a year in a German jail for robbing homes in a British Army garrison town. This is near Berlin.
In Germany. British Army garrisoned in Germany, right?
In Germany. It was near Berlin, and he was robbing homes over there, and he was given a year in German jail, but he avoided the prison cell when he was admitted to a hospital with an emergency case of priapism.
Right.
Do you know what priapism is?
Yeah, where you have a permanent boner.
A condition which keeps the manhood ever ready for sex. So you're in like permanent rigidity at all times.
But I've heard that it's just extremely painful. You know, it's not. I don't need. People say that it sounds like it'd be great. I don't even think it sounds like it'd be great, even if it didn't.
We think
hurt
people
like
pay
hell.
for Viagra to achieve that.
Yeah, but that's still only a couple hours.
Yeah,
this is like 24 hours a day. You have a big.
Dude, this is ongoing all the time.
Jeans, you know.
And in the case of Maurice Bowman, this was a couple years. But anyways,
how do you pee?
I guess you pee up. A clinical report showed that he suffered from either semi or maximum rigidity at all times on any given day. Bowman has been prescribed drugs, acupuncture, and even wide trousers in an attempt to hide his embarrassment. But dude, I mean, it's got to be uncomfortable. If you think about it, it's like you can't even wear normal jeans because you're like bulging at all times.
Yeah, give me the wider lederhosen.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you. He told the court he told the court in Bielefeld, Germany, I woke up one morning aroused. I didn't think anything of it. That happens to me a lot. Anyways, it didn't go away after a couple hours. I had sex with my girlfriend. 5 minutes later, I was aroused again. I had sex with her about an hour later. And once again, 5 minutes later, I was aroused again. So I went to see my doctor. Quote unquote, I took painkillers and drank beer, hoping I'd get brewer's droop.
Is that what they call it in Germany?
Brewer's droop.
That's what I call it in America now.
Yeah, I like how we call it whiskey dick. Yeah. Over there, they call it brewer's droop.
I have the droopy penis.
I have brewer's droop. I even took scalding hot baths, but nothing helped. And this is my favorite part. It's not funny. Stop laughing at me.
The interviewer was laughing at him, and they printed the quote.
The interviewer was laughing at him, and not to mention, I guess people in the hospital felt it was kind of humorous. Bowman, who has had this problem for 2 years now, was given a week's treatment costing $10,000. So a week's treatment was $10,000. Doctors told the court they were unable to cure him, even after sticking needles into his erect member. The judge ruled that the thief could stay out of jail until he recovers, but I guess the furious chief prosecutor insisted he would have him in prison within 2 weeks.
Can't we just get this guy like a naked picture of Oprah Winfrey or something?
Yeah, you know, you'd think if you saw Oprah Winfrey bending over or something, you'd just lose it. But I don't know. Apparently this guy is just a permanent erection.
Like naked pictures of Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah, dude, Rosie O'Donnell would just kill it.
The whole cast of the Golden Girls naked, rolling around on a twister mat with each other.
John Candy bending over.
We should open a specialist clinic.
We'll cure your permanent erection. But you know, I mean, how many people out there, I was thinking about this, how many people out there suffer from permanent erection?
No idea. Somebody knows.
I have no idea.
It's a medical condition. There's got to be statistics out there.
Well, obviously some men do, but it's just like, what would you do if you were walking around all day with a permanent hard-on?
I'd probably do exactly what he did at first. I'd have sex a bunch of times with my girlfriend.
And then start drinking a ton of beer?
Well, yeah, because then you get the whole, like, you're pretty awesome because you had sex with me, like, 8 times in a day. Mm-hmm. And then I'd be like, holy shit, now I'm getting a little worried. Yeah, then I'd drink heavily.
Well, dude, I mean, what the fuck?
I don't know what I'd do.
It's just like, would you wear extra wide trousers? Like, I mean, it's seriously, it's not like I'm wearing tight leather pants every day, but it's just like, okay, well, maybe now.
Today you are. What
maybe
are you
now.
about?
Well, we're doing the podcast, you know, I want to get into it. But no, what I'm saying is just like, it's got to affect your daily existence.
I would try duct taping it to my leg.
Just kind of duct taping it to your leg?
I mean, at least I would try that before I stuck needles into it.
I guess. I kind of wonder what the needles would even do. I like the way you said he took scalding hot baths, and I guess nothing really helped. Well, anyways...
but back to the main point. So this kept him out of jail, so it's kind of good. Well,
do you think that would even happen in the U.S.?
No.
I think they would just kind of throw you in there, and every prisoner would be like, hey, sweetheart. I mean, could you imagine? It's just like... no, I'm. I
know we're in the shower.
I know we're in the
shower
to
get the soap, and I have a raging hard on. But it's not what you think.
I mean, it would just suck. It's like you check into your cell, your cellmate's sitting there like, Hey, dude, I got this problem.
I got to get something right out of the table here before there's any misinterpretation.
Right off the bat, dude.
Bubba.
I am not into you. I just am permanently erect at all times. Well, anyways, it kept him out of prison. The prosecutor claims that he's going to have him
Maybe
in prison
getting
within a fortnight.
cornholed by some huge, Aryan Brotherhood guy would cure his erection. Maybe that would have been the best thing for him.
Yeah, I guess if he was in an
Bent
American
over that
prison.
metal toilet.
Well, I guess the.
Oh my God, I'm so not horny. Hey, I'm cured.
Sweet, dude. I've lost my erection.
Thanks a lot.
I guess only patients with acute medical problems can stay out of jail. And I don't regard him as an acute case. That's what the prosecutor said. So maybe Maurice Bowman will be going to jail in a couple weeks. We have yet to find out. So anyways, on the scale of sick and wrong, this isn't really that sick. It's kind of funny. I guess sticking needles into your prick is pretty sick. I mean, some dude walking around with a boner all the time is kind of sick. So I'm going to have to give it probably about a 6 maybe. Kind of low.
Give it a 6.5.
6.5.
Because I know my story is gonna kill.
All right, well, bring it on.
All right, I'll bring it.
Bring it.
This story comes out of China, Beijing. Reported by Richard Spencer in Beijing.
It's automatically got to be sicker if it's coming from China.
The foreign stories are always... we need to get more American stories, but lately it's just all been foreign stuff because they're so fucking weird in the rest of the world.
Dude, I mean, it's like... But China, though, like Asia is a separate part of the world where sick and wrong things go on every day.
And apparently part of this article is China has no laws banning animal cruelty. There's nothing on the books in China that say you can't, do anything you want to an animal.
So bestiality is totally cool there?
That might be illegal because, it's a person having sex with something they shouldn't, but they don't care that you abused an animal.
I thought you were allowed to fuck pigs under communism.
Maybe.
Weren't you?
Communist pigs?
Did you ever see Gorbachev's wife?
That's another picture that could cure that guy
Dude,
from
I just
Germany.
lost my boner.
Yeah. Anyway... So here's what happened in China this past week. Gruesome pictures, which first appeared on the internet, have sort of been floating around the internet over there. It's a series of pictures. In the first picture, there's a woman wearing a cocktail dress with a leopard print top and black skirt.
Ooh.
And she's caressing a tortoiseshell kitten lovingly.
Okay, so she's just kind of petting a little...
They're like the gray ones with the little darker gray spots, sort of...
So it's a little kitten.
Right,
she's caressing
gray.
his kitten.
Probably has blue eyes.
It's kind of sexy, I guess.
Then in the next picture, she puts it on the ground and looks at it. And then the next picture, she lowers a stiletto heel onto its head.
Oh, Jesus Christ. She just impales it with her heel?
Yeah, its head. She just crushes it with her stiletto heel.
Oh, dude.
So
Dude.
even though there's no laws banning animal cruelty in China, there's just a bunch of people in China who are all pissed off about this. And it's kind of like a witch hunt. Like
don't they have like a PETA there?
No, I don't think so.
There's no PETA in China.
Well, I mean, you can't just form groups in China. The government will crush you.
I guess judging by, don't they like...
They'll crush your group like the head of a kitten.
Don't they eat kittens in China?
Yeah, but it's the same thing as here. You can slaughter a cow and eat it, but you can't back a backhoe or bulldozer over it.
Take
for
a
fun.
chainsaw and just kind of cut it in half
illegal.
for fun.
But slaughtering it to eat it, that's illegal.
But dude, this sounds like it's some kind of fetishistic act. Like she's like doing
totally.
this for porn.
It's a series of pictures where she's all dressed up doing this. It's like a foot fetish / kitten mangle fetish thing.
Dude, what the fuck kind of sick pervert has this fetish?
Well, let me go on with the article because there's some other aspects to it. So they're trying to find this woman, right? And all they have are these pictures, but people search around the internet.
Does it show her face?
It does show her face, and they sort of track down a 37-year-old woman from Hubei province with the internet identity Gainmas.
Gainmas.
So she registered on this website where the pictures originally cropped up, around the same time when the pictures cropped up. And then the ultimate evidence, she bought a pair of stilettos on eBay last year. So China's kind of a big, poor country, right, with lots of people. And
so not many women there have stilettos?
Well, it's just not as common as here. Where, like,
every woman in
the
blood?
Every woman in the United States has like 37 pairs of shoes. It's like, just having one pair of these kind of singles you out in China.
Yeah, you're in the upper echelons of society with your 2 pairs of stilettos.
So people have started emailing this woman through this, internet alias she has.
Like, do you crush puppies?
Well, she doesn't really deny it. She's kind of like getting aggressive and confrontational. So they have asked her over the internet.
Dude, I'm surprised she's not crushing babies or fetuses or something.
Well, they do have that one-child policy, right? They
don't you're probably allowed to do that.
Baby girls, so they only want that one child to be a boy. Maybe that would be less of an uproar.
Maybe she was making chow mein.
I don't know how else you make it. So they're asking her, "Hey, is that you in this picture, you sick bitch?" And she's saying, "So what?" And then if they ask her again if it's her, and she says, "In theory, it's me."
So people were emailing her, accusing her of being the woman in the photographs.
Yeah, finally, those are just normal, everyday lay people. Finally, a reporter started emailing her, and she became defensive, saying, "Suddenly, hundreds of people are on my internet account and cursing me. What's the problem if I crush cats? It's just a type of experience. You wouldn't understand."
Dude, so she totally refuses to acknowledge the fact that she's doing something wrong.
Right.
Ah, dude, what a sick and twisted woman.
But they still haven't found out who she is. They only know this internet alias. They can't track, because the original account, I guess, has been deleted or something, but somehow they can still email her.
In the U.S., we would have found that woman within 32 hours.
They're still trying to confirm who it is, and one government, or I guess it's the reporter, says the embarrassing thing is there are no available laws in China governing this type of misbehavior. So even if they find out, they can't really do anything.
They can't really press charges or do anything.
Other than just, mob her. I mean, in China, they can do anything to you.
In China, they can do anything. They could send her to Gulag or some
the
worker
secret police will just
come
get you and they'll just execute you.
So have you seen these pictures?
No, the article didn't have the pictures. But
did you do a search for them?
No.
So people, I invite you to search for these pictures. Email us sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. For some odd reason, I kind of want to see them.
Here's a little kicker in the end, though. So no one seems to have suggested the serious possibility that the photographs could be a hoax created by Photoshop, or they say picture altering.
I was
computer
about to
software.
ask you about that because it doesn't sound. It sounds unreal.
It sounds kind of like the bonsai kitten thing.
Yeah, that bonsai kitten thing,
I mean,
where they shove the kittens into the little bonsai glassware.
But I don't know, man. A stiletto heel driving down through a kitten's head. That's got to be some pretty good Photoshop skills.
But the only reason I could find this to be factual is because it occurs in China. Mm-hmm. And in China, I could see something like this happening.
If it was the States, I would definitely think it was a Photoshop thing. But in China, it's a little more believable.
Yeah, because something like this would happen. And you know what? I can just picture some sick and twisted dude and some Chinese dude just masturbating vigorously to this cat's head being crushed in. In fact, I could see dudes in the U.S. doing that.
Let me say something else, though. Here's a little funny non sequitur that sort of leads you away from the whole sexual fetish thing. They just put this comment in the article. Quote, "But in the face of tight control of self-expression, young Chinese are seeking wildly different forms of sensation or satire on the state of society." So they're implying that this is some kind of political thing.
So because they're suppressed politically, that they're trying to expand their horizons here?
The cat is Mao, and the heel are Tiananmen Square students rising up to crush the kitten of communism.
So they're rebelling against Chairman Mao.
Well, it's just a theory.
Well, that's an interesting interpretation. I don't know, dude. On the sick and wrong scale, I'm going to have to give that pretty high.
But you know what's happening? We've had too many animal cruelty stories lately. I'm becoming a little bit desensitized. So this story is definitely really sick. I'm going to give it a 7.5 or an 8. But I'm giving the scores are getting. If I would have heard this story 3 weeks ago, I would have given it a 9. But I'm becoming desensitized.
The fact that we had the guy that fucks the bunny rabbits,
right.
We had the dude that throws the puppies into the trees, the puppy hurling.
I think there was another one in there
we had
somewhere.
the bestiality with the horse. The horse thing. I guess. But then again,
I'm starting to just accept all this crazy crap.
But this is pure malicious. I mean, a malicious act of her crushing a defenseless kitten's head with a stiletto, obviously a sexualized act that people are probably, pleasuring themselves to.
Political act.
Okay, it's a political act.
Polysexual act, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give that about an 8.
Yeah.
8.5.
It beats yours, but I kind of liked yours that, something different.
It definitely beats the permanent erection. I wonder if the cat crushing would have made the guy with the permanent erection, subside. If he
There's
would
so
have,
many things
made
that
him
could
soften.
kill a permanent erection, and I don't know why this guy...
Dude, I don't know. The cat crushing, I think, would have done it for me.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, I concede this week. I think I definitely owe you 2 cases of beer now. But people, I invite you to vote Sick and Wrong Podcast at hotmail.com. Also, go check us out at Podcast Alley. We're trying to garner up votes. So check us out, Podcast Alley. Just do a search for Sick and Wrong.
And remember to email
there
if you can find those pictures.
Yeah, and if you find the pictures of the kittens getting crushed, I would really love to see it and see if I could actually pleasure myself to it. Maybe. I don't know. Lance would have to leave the room. Definitely. Well, anyways, we got to move on. I believe we're almost out of time. I just wanted to address one quick thing. We've been getting a lot of email from people that send us articles, and a lot of people have been a lot of listeners have been sending us articles saying, top this. I found a more disgusting article than you will ever even dream of. And come to think of it, last week, the last podcast number 9, a listener did send in an article that was probably sicker than both of our articles. And that was the guy with the urine that drinks toddler's urine. Yeah. And so this week we got an email from someone in Germany that sent in an article about a famous German serial killer. And I know we like to discuss international serial killers here. So real quick, Lance, would you just kind of go through that article and tell me what's noteworthy about this serial killer?
It's pretty basic. It's a good story, and I hadn't heard about it before. Some guy named Fritz Haarmann. From 1919 to 1924, so this is old school type stuff. This isn't, this guy was one of the original.
So this is one of the original German serial killers.
Well,
this is pre-Hitler.
He didn't have a whole lot of people to draw.
This is pre-Eichmann.
He was making his own style and everything.
But believe me, there's plenty of other sick Germans to go around. So
he was a gay guy. At least 24 murders. He would pick up young men who hung around railway stations, and then he'd lure them back to his apartment and then kill them. So sort of, precursor to Jeffrey Dahmer, it sounds like,
Maybe he was an influence.
Right. So he'd kill them by biting through their throats in a kind of sexual frenzy.
Jesus.
So also Jeffrey Dahmer-esque, the whole
yeah, but didn't Dahmer drug him first and then stab him in the eye or something?
Well, he would drill out their heads, but then he would also eat them. He'd sort of save
so
their
he'd
body
eat them
parts,
too.
and
But
then
this dude would just
them.
rip out their jugular.
Sounds like it. This is also kind of cool. This is actually sort of a foreshadowing of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Rumors had it that Haarmann would then peddle the meat from the bodies of his victims as black market pork.
The other white meat.
So this was pre-World War II. The Jews weren't eating it. It was all the fucking Gentile Nazis eating this.
But dude, it was pre-World War II. But after World War I, people were hungry. Germany was in despair. Yeah. So I imagine this probably sold pretty well. It sounds
kind of like a hoax because it does say there was no evidence. So it's kind of a basic. Well, I hate to call it basic because it's fucked up, but it's a serial killer story. But there's a better part of this. What this guy emailed in. As far as I'm concerned. So he sent us this article, but then he also said that the funny part to me, this German guy who sent us the email said that he had an ethics teacher in junior high which made them watch a graphic video
about this guy?
Documentary of this guy. And he says the reason was so that they would have a better grasp of the meaning of diminished responsibility. I just think that's awesome.
Diminished responsibility.
That's some German thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
You get what he's saying. It's like he wanted to. Their ethics teacher wanted to show the most depraved type of person. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Be an ethical German.
Be an ethical
not
German.
This guy.
You know what I find funny about that? Number one, that they're actually showing videos of cannibalistic, serial killers in the class. And number two, Germans actually take ethics classes. Surprise, surprise. It's a changing world.
Are you getting a little shot in there for your people?
Yeah, I got to support.
Well, I just wanted to point out, if there's any, first or second grade or even kindergarten teachers who would like to syndicate our show into their classroom to,
very educational,
give some examples of things that, you don't want young children to grow up into the type of people that we talk about.
Or the type of people that we are.
I think teachers, I grant them full permission to do that.
Dude, I think kids could benefit from the show.
It's the most we could do.
I think kids could benefit from the show. And in fact, I think we should list them under educational shows on iTunes.
And if any teacher were to, begin a program of this and they would like to bring their children around the Sick and Wrong studios for some type of field trip, I would be up for that too.
I don't know, dude. I fucking hate kids. But hey, maybe I'm willing to make an exception. All right, finally, we're about out of time here. But one more email that came in. This article made me laugh. I almost actually did it as my article, but it's a little short and it's just too funny to ignore. Young man steals schoolgirl swimsuit to wear and defecate in. This happened in Shizuoka, Japan. A man broke into a high school, stole girls' swimsuits, and then defecated in them as he pranced around wearing the garments. He was just recently arrested. I don't even know how to say his name. It's like Yasuhisa Matsushita, 25 years old, a temporary employment agency worker. He's a temp from Shizuoka, Japan, was arrested for trespassing and willful destruction of property. He admits to his allegations.
The swimsuits?
Yeah. He admits to the allegations completely, and this is his explanation to explain his behavior. I did it because it felt so good. Several other high schools in the area are reporting break-ins, but people haven't found soiled swimsuits in them, so it might not be the same guy.
I think I have an assignment for all our listeners this week. Go out and do something just because it feels so good.
That's kind of what
email us what it was.
On that note, that's kind of how I want to end the show. Just go do something, anything, as long as it feels good.
I'm going to go do something right after the show.
That feels good?
I'll tell you next week what it is.
Yeah, I don't even want to be involved in it.
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
We'll have to find out. Podcast 11. Thanks for listening tonight. Take care. Take it sleazy. And do something that feels good. Kind of like Corky in this song Poison Ivy. Hey, Lance, here's an idea. See if you can recognize the parts where Corky's singing. It's kind of difficult to tell. We'll be back next week. Later.
See ya.
She comes on like a rose, but everybody knows she'll get you in Dutch. You can look, but you better night time. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Late at night while you're sleeping, poison ivy comes creeping.